Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, shots fired in Durham. Bullet holes are visible this morning at a gas station on North Alston Avenue. What police say happened around midnight.
Also this morning, storm impacts. The WRAL storm tracker is out on the roads, keeping an eye on those wet conditions. And right now, a tree is down on power lines, causing an outage right near Durham's Miami Boulevard.
And our next system running up the coast is going to bring some showers and storms there. But we should begin to dry out later this afternoon. A chance of severe storms again on Friday, though. We'll take a look at that.
And a must-win game. The Canes need to pull off another miracle to stay in their quest for the Stanley Cup. How the team is preparing ahead of puck drop tonight. They were able to steal one on the road, and so that was a much-needed boost, and then they'll be back on home ice tonight. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday. Kind of a dreary start, though, weather-wise. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, you'll see it when you step out the door here, no doubt about it. But thanks for making us part of your routine here. It has become routine seeing what's happening out there. On the radar, though, a little bit of clearing, but, oh, it's still just mucky out there.
It is, lots of drizzle out there. Sometimes the drizzle doesn't show up very well on the radar, but a little bit of light rain just moved through Durham and now moving between, say, I-85 and I-95 there in our northeastern counties. No matter where you are, it's probably going to be wet on the roads, and there may be some patchy fog. A little bit of light rain here just south of Smithfield and then just east of Wilson, heading on up into Edgecombe County. Checking Futurecast, it does show all this moving on out, especially by the time we get to 8 or 9 o'clock. An isolated shower possible between, say, 9 and lunchtime. And then after that, some gradual clearing starting mid to late afternoon. The evening commute should be much drier and a lot less messy. But we still have a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms on Thursday and again on Friday. This morning, the rain is moving out, but you may run into some fog and some road spray, and again, turning drier this afternoon. Some low clouds hanging over North Hills right now with a temperature of 65 and the dew point 62. So you walk outside and it definitely feels moist. 60s with us up until lunchtime, and then high 75 this afternoon, so a little bit warmer than yesterday. Friday is already a WRAL weather alert day for a level 2 risk. I'm going to walk you through the timeline coming up. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, at 6:02, those wet road conditions require us to have the WRAL storm tracker out on the roads, give you a first-hand account of what you'll see once you get out there this morning. This morning, we have Kelsey Coffey and photographer Mark Alexic giving us a first-hand account of what they're seeing in Wake County. Kelsey, good morning.
Ken, good morning. Right now, we are on the Triangle Expressway. We'll give you a live look now at conditions. As Elizabeth was mentioning earlier, only light drizzle and some patchy fog. So it's some fog here where we are now, but you can really get a good view of the fog with our live picture now of Pinehurst. That fog is really thick there. If you're out on the road this morning, wet roads really throughout our entire viewing area, especially in Garner. We saw a lot of wet roads there. So just be careful, give yourself a little bit of extra time. But as far as this fog, it's not too heavy, so it shouldn't impact your visibility as much. But Ken, are you monitoring any trouble spots this morning?
The good news right now, Kelsey, no trouble spots to report, no incidents being reported anywhere in Wake County with the help of our friends at Wake Raleigh 911. So really, all our major routes are delay-free from Wendell to Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. You're getting ready to head out the door, though. Tune us in on the radio. Traffic is constantly changing. 101.5 HD3.
The storms caused a tree to fall on power lines in Durham. WRAL's Ali Kadlubar is there. This is in a neighborhood off South Miami Boulevard. And Ali, some of those folks waking up to the sound of chainsaws this morning, chopping up that tree.
Yes, absolutely right. And just in the last 10 minutes, we've actually seen tree service crews clear the road after that fallen down oak tree was blocking the roadway here on Marley Drive. We can see the tree service crews, they're packing up because they cleared that roadway here. Now, just earlier, we saw the branches, they were pulling down those utility lines, causing an outage to customers here on this road here. Now, Duke Energy outage map does report that about 25 customers are without power right now. Luckily not a major outage, but they have been without power for a while now, and expected restoration is 11 a.m., but we saw how quickly this crew just removed that tree from the roadway, so now utility crews can get to work on restoring power. We are still working to find out if there's any damage to any homes right here on Marley Drive. We did just speak with a tree service crew member who says that they've gotten more work orders to go to, so more down trees possibly in the area. We're going to keep you updated throughout the morning. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Breaking news overnight, a gas station in Durham riddled with bullets. This happened at the BP station on North Alston Avenue around 11:30. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there while officers investigated. Police tell us a lot of shots were fired, but thankfully no one was hurt. We're working to find out if police have any information on the shooter.
Family members say a 2-year-old accidentally shot himself in the stomach in Rocky Mount. A child is in the hospital in critical condition. Police say the gun belonged to his 17-year-old uncle and was left unattended. Captain Walter Keeter says this is a wake-up call about gun safety and youth access to guns.
Firearm safety is important, and it should be taken seriously, that if you have firearms, they should be properly secured.
Police say the 17-year-old had 2 handguns. One of them was reported stolen from Cary. He faces several charges. Unsecured weapons in homes is the subject of a WRAL documentary. You can watch Unsafe, North Carolina Kids Dying from Gun Violence right now on WRAL.com.
Authorities are looking for a man they say fired shots into 5 different houses in Fayetteville. This is Michael Davis. Cumberland County deputies say Davis fired shots into houses on Sarah Lane on Saturday night. No one was hurt. The sheriff's office says Davis should be considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, call authorities.
Wake County students and staff will learn skills for using artificial intelligence and other digital tools under a new policy being drafted by the school system. Middle and high school students can already access tools like ChatGPT at school. The policy would put some parameters in place when that's okay. It would also include some training. Some school board members say they're concerned about the impact on student learning, but agree students can't be missing out on new learning because of new technologies like AI, and the board plans to discuss a draft policy next month.
In Fayetteville, city leaders approved a youth curfew. The youth protection ordinance restricts anyone 16 and under from being out from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. There are exceptions for those accompanied by parents or for teenagers who work. The city has a meeting scheduled for June 9th to plan how the rules will be enforced.
It's another must-win situation for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Puck drops at 8 p.m. for Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final. And WRAL's Laura Levine is at the Lenovo Center this morning. Canes back in Raleigh with that tide-changing win over Florida, trying to keep the momentum going on home ice.
Absolutely. And right now we're standing on center ice. Good morning, Jeff. The Carolina Hurricanes are aiming to earn another day as they return home here for this must-win matchup. And the team will try to keep that momentum going heading into Game 5 hosting the Florida Panthers. I want you to check out some of this high-stakes video from that game on Monday. With their backs against the wall, the Carolina Hurricanes snapped back into the form that they had rolled through the first 2 rounds of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. And Monday's matchup presented a win or go home scenario, but the Canes were aiming to do both. Coach Rod Brindamore said the players are giving it all they got, and the rookies are now stepping up in major ways. So the next challenge is, well, doing it all over again. And that's easier said than done against a veteran group in Florida, which is seeking its 3rd straight trip to the Stanley Cup final. So, of course, we're going to see what happens tonight here inside the Lenovo Center. The puck drops at 8 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we'll have exclusive insight and expert analysis of tonight's game on Canes' exclusive post-game live. So don't miss that, 11:25 tonight on WRAL.
A Harnett County nurse and her husband are accused of stealing prescription drugs from hospice patients. Joanna and Robert Hall face several charges, including obtaining a controlled substance through misrepresentation, fraud, or forgery. Authorities were first alerted by Joanna Hall's employers after they reported that unnecessary prescriptions were being ordered. The investigation showed both Hall and her husband ordered the drugs even when patients did not need them.
In Cumberland County, today is the last day to submit an appeal if you disagree with the assessed value of your home. The county tax office reports the value of real estate in the area went up an average of 65% between 2017 and now. Appeals can only be submitted in person or by mail and will be taken until 5 p.m.
Cumberland County Schools has a new superintendent. The school board unanimously appointed Eric Bracey. Currently, Bracey is the superintendent of Johnston County Schools. Prior to that, he held leadership positions in Sampson, Vance, and Northampton counties, as well as Durham Public Schools. Bracey's first day on the job will be July 1st. He will replace Marvin Connolly Jr. Connolly announced his retirement plans last year.
Tonight, family members of late Smithfield Town Councilman Marlon Lee are inviting the community to honor him. They're holding a balloon release at Smith Collins Park at 6 p.m. Friends say Lee was a champion for his community. He died over the weekend from medical complications.
New COVID vaccine guidelines. Health department leaders say healthy children and pregnant women should not get the vaccine. A look at the announcement made by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
And Pride Festival security, a change to a local LGBTQ plus Pride venue because of safety concerns. The new location and what festival leaders say is making them make this change.
And it's a messy start this morning. We still have some light rain showing up on the dual Doppler 5000 radar. I'll show you when it finally starts to move out.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:14, we do have some light rain that's coming down in parts of the area for this morning. We do continue to have a chance of some scattered showers all the way through around lunchtime. And then by the time we get to the evening commute, we should start to dry out a little bit. It'll be a little warmer than it was yesterday. 65 was our high temperature. We're looking at 75 in the Triangle this afternoon. Could be as warm as 80 down south. It all depends on how quickly we start to see the sun breaking out. It's likely to be around 4 to 6 o'clock, which makes it just fine for getting out and tailgating at the Hurricanes game. Really exciting game. Temperatures at around 7 o'clock, 75 degrees, and just a 20% chance that you'd run into any rain at that point. Still maybe some lingering clouds, but the weather should be fine for tailgating. After that, we're looking at just a small chance for some showers and thunderstorms Thursday, but we already have a WRAL weather alert day for Friday. We'll go over that coming up. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's start in the Bull City, give you a live look at I-885 and TW Alexander Drive. We just have a stalled vehicle there in the shoulder of the road in those northbound lanes, but you can see traffic is flowing nicely in all directions. In terms of other major routes coming into the Bull City, very little to no delays whatsoever. Similarly, here in the capital city, we're not seeing any delays, just about a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest at this hour.
Ken, thank you. Recommendations on who should get the COVID-19 vaccine are changing. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. made the announcement on social media.
The COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule.
Kennedy says this decision positions the Trump administration one step closer to delivering on the Make America Healthy Again agenda, but offered no scientific evidence to justify the change. Many medical professionals say the changes put vulnerable populations at risk.
Fayetteville's Pride Festival will look different this year. Event organizers say they made a decision to move inside, partially due to safety and security concerns. Usually the annual LGBTQ plus festival takes place at Fayetteville's Festival Park. This year the event will take place June 21st at the Crown Complex. Fayetteville Pride President Crystal Maddox explains why.
2 reasons for the change: the heat of June in Festival Park and the safety in the climate right now in our country.
Maddox says there has been community concern about safety after a series of appearances at past events by LGBTQ plus hate groups. She says the outdoor venue didn't provide the protection they need. With the extra precautions now, Maddox encourages people to celebrate and assures them safety is a priority.
The Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency can now access Treasury Department systems that contain private information of millions of Americans. In yesterday's ruling, a federal judge said she was allowing DOJ to access these systems. She says the Trump administration has created adequate training to prevent staffers from disclosing private data. North Carolina and 18 other states filed a lawsuit earlier this year to block DOJ from accessing the payment systems.
California fertility clinic that was bombed earlier this month has reopened at a temporary location. The clinic says it's open to existing patients, but new patients need to call to schedule an appointment. Authorities say the Palm Springs facility was targeted in an act of domestic terrorism May 17th. 4 people were hurt in that attack. Authorities say the man who orchestrated the bombing died in it. Officials say his motive was a belief no one should have children. 6:18 right now on our Wednesday morning. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Kind of a dreary start here, but it's not raining everywhere out there. It's going to be tough to dry out, though, certainly.
The one nice thing is it's not pouring. You know, boy, yesterday afternoon and last night, the rain was really coming down. So it's fairly light, but it's still going to be something that has an effect on your morning commute. Fayetteville's looking pretty foggy here. We have a lot of drizzle out there right now. Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, all looking gray. And you can see, especially here in Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant, the streets are rather wet, and you'll see that pretty much everywhere. We continue to have a little bit of light drizzle developing in some places, especially just sort of in continuation here just north of the Triangle from Lewisburg up toward Henderson and Warren County, and then around Roxborough and just north of Durham there. So you're going to run into some damp conditions, some drizzle out there. How much rain have we seen? Boy, it was, again, really coming down yesterday. Anywhere from around an inch. We did have a lighter amount there in Zebulon at about half an inch, but we really were averaging around an inch of rain. Some places were a little heavier, 1.37 in Apex, 1.42 there in Garner, with a cluster of some heavier rain in southwestern Wake County. Here's a look at Futurecast as we head through the day. Most of the rain starts to lift out, but there's still likely to be a sprinkle or two through lunchtime. And then late this afternoon, we might start to see some gradual clearing. But we will see another chance of some isolated thunderstorms for tomorrow. Our next weather maker is a front that's to our west that mainly brings us some storms on Friday as it moves through. Some of those storms could be severe. So it's already a WRAL weather alert day for the chance of wind and hail between 1 and 7 o'clock. And again, that's going to be Friday. It's a level 2 risk, meaning scattered storms could produce some wind damage or hail, or even an isolated tornado on Friday in the afternoon. Our rain chances on Friday, 60%. Today and tomorrow, around 40%. Rainfall totals obviously highest tomorrow on Friday with 3/4 of an inch of rain possible. Today's a cooler day at 75, but starting tomorrow, we're back into the 80s, and we'll see that continuing all the way into next week. Now, even with more rain in the forecast, it doesn't mean that we'll have some dry times. And Ken, it still looks nice and dry for the Canes if you're going to be out tailgating for this evening.
You know, Canes fans, rain or shine, they'll be out there.
Absolutely.
All right, Elizabeth, thanks. Listen, good news to report about that tree down on Marley Drive at South Miami Boulevard. It's completely cleared. Just utility company crews are now working to restore power and get those lines back up and running. You can see from the live traffic sensors this morning, nothing but green other than the rain showing up. So let's go outside, give you a live look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Traffic flowing nicely in all directions. In terms of other major routes connected to I-40 West, if you're coming in from Johnston County this morning, Highway 42, nothing but free and clear, as well as the southern loop of the Beltline. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. We'll keep you updated.
Energy priorities. Today we will learn more about the governor's thoughts on energy production, a look at his track record on sustainable power as Attorney General.
And money for schools. Durham educators are calling for more money from the county. Why they say the district needs about $16 million more than the current local contribution.
Ahead on Today, are some of your favorite foods making you sick? The rising rates of obesity and diabetes, and a look into the new attempt to crack down on the junk food industry.
And here we have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. We'll be right back with what's trending.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
A new generation of Harry Potter stars.
Also, celebrities fill the stands at an NBA game. Ken Smith here now with what's trending, Ken.
Yeah, Jeff and Renee have playoff game will travel. The New York Knicks and their celebrity fans making their way to Indiana for the NBA Conference Final. Spotted in the crowd, film director Knicks superfan Spike Lee, also actors Ben Stiller and Timothée Chalamet. On the flip side, though, country musician Jelly Roll there to support his Pacers.
Well, another musician, native son John Mellencamp there as well. And you know what? All that, you see them at Madison Square Garden, all those Knicks, but it's playoffs, so you got to travel. Didn't help because the Pacers took a 3-1 lead in that series.
Jelly Roll went home very happy.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this? HBO giving us a first look at who will play Harry, Ron, and Hermione in their upcoming TV show. TV newcomers Dominique McLaughlin will be play the role of Harry Potter, Arabella Stanton as Hermione Granger, and Alistair Stout as Ron Weasley. They were chosen out of 30,000 wannabe wizards who auditioned.
And this will be life-changing for these
no doubt.
actors, right? To fill these iconic roles. We first told you about the casting call for the new Harry Potter on our What's Trending segment back in September.
Yeah.
And the series is said to be very faithful to the books, so fans will be happy to hear that. And J.K. Rowling, the author, will be serving as executive producer.
As she should. Right?
Super happy about that.
Ken, thanks. Today, local law enforcement will go for a run that benefits the Special Olympics. The 2025 Law Enforcement Torch Run kicks off about 7:30 this morning. A 10-mile course starts at Little River Park in Zebulon and ends on New Bern Avenue. A second 5-mile run will be held tomorrow morning from Carter Finley Stadium to the state capitol. Last year, the Wake County Sheriff's Office raised more than $62,000 from these runs.
This year's Broogaloo Festival raised more than $25,000 for Western North Carolina. The donation was made to the North Carolina Craft Brewers Foundation. It will provide direct relief to breweries still working to recover from Helene, helping with things like business recovery grants to rebuild infrastructure and replace equipment.
And it's a messy start out there this morning. We take a live look at Durham, where streets and sidewalks are wet. We'll take a look at the morning commute and show you how it'll be different by this evening.
Yeah, we have a live look at that commute right now on the roads from the WRAL Storm Tracker this morning. The conditions you can expect when you head out the door.
And an exchange of gunfire, 2 drivers shooting at one another, hitting a gas station in Durham. Details of the investigation into shots fired around midnight.